The effect of cues on attentional shifts. A presentation done by Mary Fernia, Abdallah Jaro, and Jennifer Rogers. Our paper was published by a journal that is not listed on Professor Andrew Cohen's list, but was approved as a reliable source. This presentation will be focused on attention, a topic we recently discussed in class. More specifically, though, we will focus on reflexive shifts of attention. The imaging technique used in this study was the functional magnetic resonance imaging, fMRI. Previous studies have reported that humans attend reflexively to locations and objects that are being looked at by other people. And more recent studies showed that arrows produced a reflexive attentional shift in healthy children and adults that was indistinguishable from that produced by the eyes. With these interesting findings, the current study aimed to answer two questions. The first, do directional cues such as gaze direction of other people or arrows produce reflexive shifts of attention to the cued location? And if so, do the same neural systems subserve reflexive orienting in response to eyes and arrow? To try and answer these questions, the following procedure was done.
This study involved 22 participants, 12 of which were male. Their average age was 31 years old. Dominantly right-handed subjects were chosen. In order to assure research was accurate, every participant was screened for both neurological and psychological disorders. Each subject included in this study tested negative for any such disorders. The stimulus presented to each subject was an ambiguous picture. Do you view the picture as a car or as eyes in a hat? An asterisk fell on the ambiguous picture approximately 600 milliseconds later. It was placed on either the left, right, or center, about 10 degrees from where the photo had first appeared.
Here is the experimental setup. Participants were placed in an fMRI machine for this study. A screen projected the stimulus image on the foot of the fMRI. Then, the participants viewed the stimulus with a mirror angled above their field of vision.
Participants were split into two groups. 12 participants took part in a two-scan study. In the first scan, they were told to view the ambiguous stimuli as a car. In the second scan, they were told to view the stimulus as eyes in a hat. 10 of the subjects participated in the three-scan study. In the first two scans, subjects were told to view the ambiguous picture as a car, while in the third study, they were told to view the picture as eyes in a hat.
One set of results was concerning behavioral data. Cueing represents reflexive attention, meaning it is natural for humans to look towards something when some kind of indicator is used. We performed a similar task in class where we had to look in the direction of an arrow. Our responses were faster when the arrow was facing the direction the target appeared in than when it pointed toward the opposite direction. There was also a main effect showing that we answer faster when location is cued. Order in which stimulus were presented also was found to have no real effect on response time. This shows that a similar reaction did not activate the same areas of the brain. The second type of data they looked at was imaging data. They found that the superior temporal sulcus, STS, was affected when participants had to perceive a stimulus as eyes, but not when they had to perceive it as a car. So let's talk about this. Many circumstances can cause similar reactions, but who says those reactions are always caused by the same neurological functions and architecture? Their hypothesis was that orienting to eyes may activate the right hemisphere superior temporal sulcus. fMRIs proved this true. Different sections of the brain are activated by different stimulus. Even if a reaction is the same, it does not mean the processing of that stimulus is identical to another. So there were some things that were good and bad. What the researchers did well. The experimenters conducted this study in an orderly, clear way. Everything was well thought out. The results were more likely to be valid because they only tested 2 variables. What the researchers could have improved upon. Studies are generally more valid if more participants are involved because it leaves less to chance. Generally, psychologists prefer to find significant results that hold true among a large group of people. So now let's talk about the follow-up. This article is a great gateway for scientists studying neurological pathways and activations. In the future, fMRIs can be used to test more than how cueing locations of a target activates various areas of the brain. Perhaps researchers could test how different colored objects could activate different areas, or maybe how different smells activate different areas, even though the participant reacts similarly to both. This article relates to cognitive psychology because it is all about the brain and how it works. Cognitive psychologists constantly try to figure out which parts of the brain cause certain reactions, as well as how neurological pathways are affected by outside circumstances and actions. Learning about the brain's structure and function leads to discoveries and/or new ideas to explore in the field of cognitive psychology. This relates to everyday life and definitely affects us because these results represent how our brain works. Whether we are looking across the street, reading a book, or talking to a friend, different pathways in the brain activate and allow us to function. If something was damaged temporarily or permanently, it would affect how that person is able to behave and live. fMRIs could also tell doctors what is no longer functioning and help them figure out how to help this person cope and maybe even regain the ability to perform certain behaviors, although sadly not all. Many people do not understand how the brain works. However, thanks to research by cognitive psychologists, these processes are a little less of a mystery.